You are listening to Titletown Brawl, your Packer coverage 24/7, 365 on the Brawl Network, with your hosts, Super Bowl 45 champion Brandon BJack Jackson and Jay Andrews. Welcome, everybody, to another live episode of Titletown Brawl with me, Jay Andrews, and Brandon Jackson. Hit us up on Twitter. Follow the show at Titletown Brawl. Myself is at UPJ33. Brandon Jackson is at BJackson32. On Instagram, it is Brandon Jackson29, and myself is at J_Andrews033. Follow, like, and share the show's Facebook page by searching Titletown Brawl. And don't forget to give our parent company some love, The Brawl Network. Hit them up on the all-new website, thebrawlnetwork.com. Go there, sign up for free. It's your one-stop shop. The Brawl has it all, baby. And don't forget to give them some love on social media. Hit them up on Twitter at Network Brawl, and follow, like, and share their Facebook page by searching The Brawl Network. Welcome.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Show. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another live episode of TTB. It's me, and you know, it's fam. What it do, fam?
What's up, man? Just had a good day today. What is hump day? And just trying to make the best of it right now.
Well, you know what? We're not even going to delay time because I don't want to waste any time, because this man's brain, experience, and expertise and all the things we want to talk about are way beyond even the yammering that I usually do. So why don't you introduce the gentleman we have on as our very special guest tonight, BJack?
All right, standing at 6 foot tall, this young man came out the University of Indiana. No, it's fine. I want to introduce a good friend of mine. He worked with me. I worked under him when he was with the Packers. 3 years with the Packers, 9 years overall in the NFL. He also coached some college ball, some high school ball. He's been all over the United States of America in a good capacity of football. I want to welcome Ty Knott to the show. Ty, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Ty has also been with the Packers for 3 years as the quality control coach, assistant wide receiver coach. Also, Ty was with the AAF Memphis League Express. And he also, this previous year, before it shut down, he was with the LA Wildcats as the tight ends coach, assistant head coach. So, Ty, how's your day going?
My day's going good, man. Day's going good. Got a chance to go work out with my son. Got a chance to cut down a couple trees in the back.
Got a professional tree chopper in the house.
So I like that. I like the sound of that. Now, see, right away, we got something in common. You can come up here, up to my place, and help me. I got a whole loggers cord out there. I keep getting behind on, needs to be cut up, split, stacked, all that for the wood fire. So if you got experience, man, I could use the help.
All right.
So, Ty, I know you were saying you were getting ready to talk about football a little bit, and you said your son plays ball. You was working out your son.
Yes. He goes to college. He goes to St. John's University over in Minnesota, and he plays wide receiver.
Okay, that's what's up. So we got some college NFL blood in the family. Hopefully he'll just keep on the right track with everything that's going on in this pandemic, and he'll get his shot.
Yep.
Well, since you got somebody in your family that plays and you got an extensive coaching background, let's get in right to the first topic. We'll save the juiciest for last and the biggest part, of course, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Let's talk about what happened yesterday with Devin Funchess, who they just signed, opting out for the season. Now that's putting a pause on his contract. He will still be a Packer under contract for 1 year as of next season. But as somebody now that coaches, has a son that plays, with the COVID, what's kind of your view on this, and how do you feel the next dominoes that are going to drop? Do you feel bigger names, or is it going to get worse? I mean, how do you see it in your experience?
Hold on, Ty, before you answer that, it's a two-part question, all right? He had the first part. I'm going to give you the second part. The second part of this question is, what do you think to the capacity or effect Devin Funchess have on the wide receiver room as well? But you can answer Jay's question first.
As far as Funchess opting out, I thought it was interesting when I saw the thing on Twitter or Instagram, that I assumed that he made with the family, first and everything like that. But I think all the cases are going to be in the individual basis. So, to me, some guys are going to want to play. I think, first of all, all the guys want to play. But then some guys are going to just say, you know what, somebody in my family might be affected by this, so I might have to forego this year. And so I think it is going to affect everybody a little differently. And, they're definitely going to miss him.
Oh, you think it's going to affect him greatly? Because everybody's underselling what the Packers did. Reggie Bagleton, nobody wants to talk about him. Devin Funchess, he's not that good. He's slow. So you think this does have an effect on them right away?
He's a big body, and he's proven in the league. So you can't find those guys walking down the aisle at Walmart. You know what I mean? He's got great size. He's done it before, and there's something to that.
And not only him, Marquise Goodwin, he came on. I think he had a video on Facebook saying the main reason why he has a daughter that's, I guess, not even a year old, and he just don't want to put her life in jeopardy with all the other foolishness that can go on and possibly go on in the league with guys either going out or hanging out or family members coming in from hot spots and all those type of things, and he ends up bringing it home. So I do believe some of this has to do with things other than just the league maybe not stepping up and properly protecting these young men.
Yeah. The second part of that question, I'm going to say I definitely think he can have an impact in that wide receiver room. And that's why I said that a little bit earlier. He's going to be missed there. But the biggest offseason acquisition to me is that Ruvell Martin is an assistant receiver coach there. And Ruvell was there, when I was there, in Green Bay and stuff like that. Now he's coming back. So he knows he was there with that group, with Greg, with James, with Donald, with Jordy, and all that closeness that they had. So he understands that firsthand because he was there, with it. So that to me is a big acquisition for the Packers.
We talked about that, and BJack was very adamant about that being a very good hire, and so it's kind of neat to have somebody else with your experience saying that's. So how does that exactly, do you feel, kind of change that dynamic? Because there's been a little bit of a fall off, honestly, in the development of the wide receivers over the last couple of seasons from what we've gotten used to when you had the Jordys and James Jones and Greg Jennings coming through that system earlier when you were there.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be able to come in and give him a balance. I know he's getting back into the coaching and that type of thing, but he knows Aaron, personally, because, Aaron was, coming up, during that time. But he also knows, that room. So I definitely think that's the uniqueness about him. So that's kind of why I said that he can definitely make an impact.
Sweet.
I think this helps the situation too with Rovell. Rovell also did a lot of outreach
Yes.
Events, and he was also, when I got there, he also helped Rob Davis with the Packers had a basketball team, and we would go to different cities around cities and towns around Wisconsin and play in those games. And Rovell was known pretty well in those cities with everything he has done over those last couple of years. So I think this is a plus plus. And when it comes to that aspect of knowing who Rovell is and what he can do and how he can help in that wide receiver room.
Yeah. Now those receivers probably won't know who he is.
No, they won't.
Yeah, he's not a household name by any means, but he'll definitely command respect. Very intelligent guy, and he knows the head coach. They have a relationship, and so that's why I say the foundation is there. And I think that group, as a group, not individuals, probably need to improve, and thus why I said Devin's going to be missed because he is a big target.
What about Reggie Bagleton? Because BJack and I are on a little bit different trajectories here. I look at his tape and I see a guy that, yes, maybe the rules are a little different in CFL, but if you can run routes and you're really fast and you're hard to tackle and you can catch the dang ball, I think a lot of that can translate, especially when you consider he's never played with the caliber quarterback that can put the ball and throw him open and show him the things on film. You know what I mean? As far as the caliber of Aaron Rodgers, I think his veteranism and just the fact that he's been a pro, even though it's in the CFL, I think it's being undersold of his impact that he could have on this team. Given everything that's happened, I think rookie wide receivers, I would count them out. I don't care if it's fantasy or just in real. I think there's going to be one or two that show you the cream of the crop that have that, unique style that can still do it. The rest are going to fall short because they're not going to have that developmental period. But what do you see in Reggie Bagleton?
I'm gonna tap in for him, and I'm gonna tell you guys what I feel about Reggie Bagleton again, because as you were talking, I start thinking about this young man that went to the University of Oklahoma. He played with the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's Marcus Clayton. If I'm not sure, he's a strong wide receiver, strong body guy. Played in the slot. He can catch the ball. He can create yards after the catch. And that would be a guy that can step in and take over that slot position now with Lazard being a for sure number 2 receiver.
Yeah, and you talk about Reggie. He went to Lamar College. Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah. I think that transition in the league is going to take some time. So, you'll.
But see, Jay's argument is going to be that he played in Canada for a certain amount of years, and he bring the experience that no first round draft pick can bring to the table.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying is I know he hasn't been in the league. He's a rookie in the NFL. And the rules are different. He's got, like he said, well, he's got to learn how to stop, go from a start and a stop without getting a starting run. I understand that. But my point is that when he understands football on a pros level already, where when Aaron makes a reference to something, he's not going to have a rookie level of intelligence or football to be able to take what Aaron is telling him or they're communicating and be able to execute it on the field. Not to mention, like I said, a receiver's job, from what I everything that I can see, when you got a guy like Aaron, that they can throw you open, they can come in a game and manage you and tell you, like, instead of, quit overrunning it. They're the way they're playing it, sit down a couple steps earlier and give you those tips. A lot of this stuff, as long as you're a pro already and you have that already experience of already having a higher level of competition than college in a more complicated offensive scheme, to me, Reggie is got the edge against any first, and it doesn't matter about talent. It's just about being able to translate those communicated things in the film room to the field to be successful over these rookies that maybe are more talented, but they're not going to be able to understand the football part of it, IQ, acumen, the way he does, just from his experience being in the CFL.
I got you. I think the biggest thing is going to be trust. It's going to get down to trust. Can Aaron trust you to catch the ball? Can Aaron trust you to be in the right place at the right time? Because to me, that's what it gets down to. And I understand, you played in the CFL, but, in that system and understanding that system and the verbiage and the ins and outs and the route changes at the line of scrimmage, all that type of stuff. And it does give him a leg up on some of those college guys, having been in the CFL, but it's really going to get down to, can Aaron trust you?
And Ty, I guess you can contest or answer this question for me. With guys either in the AFL, the AF, or the XFL, do you know the transition from one league, since you coached in both leagues and coached in the NFL? What would the transition be like from one of those spring leagues to the NFL compared to a CFL to the NFL?
The biggest thing, I guess, would be just understanding the schedule of the NFL schedule, because it's about coming in there, understanding everything, how they do it, in Green Bay, or how they do it, at some other place and stuff like that. So that's one of the transitions. I know for my guys, for my tight ends, I used to always teach them now, hey, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what those guys, those scouts and stuff are going to look like. It's not about blocking the guy, but it's about how you block the guy or how you catch the football. Some of those ins and outs and some of those details I think are important. So, but when it gets to, can a guy make that transition? Yes. Is he hungry enough? Yes. Is he focused enough? I mean, all those things are, factor in. Do you have a sense of focus that you can keep your off-field issues off the field? You know what I mean? So you don't bring them on, to the practice field or anything like that to be a distraction. Because to me, that's the biggest way to get yourself out the door.
Don't give yourself any excuses to not be able to perform at the highest level at all times. Because the minute you do that, you slip. There's 100 guys just ready to take that moment from you.
Right, right.
It's just like any job place, man. That's what I think people, as fans, like, the more you learn and the farther you get away from fandom, the more you learn of the business side. It's like you start to understand why things are done. It's a game, but the game is played once a week. The rest of it, the other 6 days of the week are business. It's a job. Like that's, I don't think people are kind of equate those two together enough. That the game is really only once a week. Everything else is a business. It's about making money. It's about getting prepared. It's about being responsible, just like an everyday employee needs to be. So,
yeah, and I think that transition for Reggie, hopefully it won't be tough. It shouldn't be tough. I wish it's not tough, but it's a transition as well because from what I understand and what I know from CFL, you're on your own after practice. On game day, you got to find your way to the field. You got to find your way to practice. You work out on your own. So that can be a plus or a minus for a guy like Reggie. Are you adaptable? Can you change? Can you adapt on at any given moment? Can you be required to do things that's mandatory, because almost everything in the NFL is mandatory. Where CFL things are not mandatory, things may not be implemented. So it's that culture that it's just the culture of the ball change when it comes to that league that he will probably have to adapt to. I think everything else, like you said, Ty, and like you said, Jay, will go hand in hand. So far as just being hungry, aggressive, the experience of playing in a pro league, whether it's in Canada or America. Pros are pros. And so just being able to have that experience will help out tremendously with them, for them, especially now that Funches has decided to opt out. Now the discussion comes to who's the better man for the third job, the slot. Who's the better man to back up? Is Lazard the guy for the job? That's the question now that comes into play. Is Lazard the man for the job?
And also just to piggyback on that, also, can he connect with some of the guys that, whether it could be a DB, doesn't necessarily have to be a receiver, could be, because you're always going one-on-ones with those DBs. But to me, just learning about, how to practice, because that's,
yes.
Yes. I know when Brandon was there, Brandon did a great job. I mean, he was focused. He came to work. He was great in the meeting room, and it translates out there on the field. We still stay in contact, today. Why? Because he was a great guy. You know what I mean? And that came out and stuff. So, but definitely, understanding how things are. So really learning how to be a pro's pro.
Well, we talk about this because I love running backs, right? I fell in love with the running back position at a young age. That's how my affinity came. And then I grew to realize that as an analyst, everybody wants to know about quarterbacks. And so I became hyper active over the court. But I still, at my heart, I love running backs, right? So, and even when I did play in high school and stuff, I played running back, right? Even though I was small. So I love running backs. So we talk about, because Brandon – we talk about just like this, about the having to get that trust, and how Brandon went about getting it was coming to work and doing the things. But those things that he did, that he excelled at, that you coaches praised and loved him for, and in the film room and the teammates don't have statistics, made him out not to seem as good as an athlete or as great, because it didn't give guys fantasy points. But it was a larger part of making the offense work, and Aaron being successful on third downs when he was in, there's just no stat line. Can you speak to that a little bit, about some of the ugly things that aren't glorified but are very important from your coaching aspect when it comes to winning football games?
Yeah, I think when I look at Brandon, I know ball security is always important. And when we start with ball security at practice, and Mike used to always talk about that, so he understood, that part of it. And to me, it's like, hey, you don't want to drop your paycheck, so you don't want to fumble the ball. But also that blitz pickup. I mean, and he would come and hit you. He's got great leverage. And so just understanding protections, as a running back, it's not just running that football, but finding the outside edge on the outside.
Did we lose him?
He did a great job. It stood out in that aspect.
You froze up there for a second, so can you repeat about the last 10 seconds for us?
You was talking about the outside edge.
Outside edge is where we lost you.
Yeah. So, and I'm just saying, as a running back, it's not just going the outside zone, stuff like that, but he needs to know what you need to know what you need to do when it comes to pass pro and pick up. So when a defense gives you an adjustment, so you have your protection adjustments, and that's when you got to be on your toes. So when that happens, you have to step up and know exactly where you need to go. And I thought he did a great job, excellent job with that.
See, it's something Ty doesn't know that I never said to him about, his job. when Ty used to draw those cards, he used to get pissed when guys wasn't in the right spot. Because then you have either the defense coordinator, offense coordinator, or head coach getting on his head because guys are not in the right spot. So that also helped me understand the just the importance of where to line up in my assignment and my technique. Understanding where the linebackers are, understanding, if their feet are staggered or if they're down 2 or 3 yards from their normal depth, if they're hanging on their toes or if they're sitting flat-footed. It was those type of things that Ty helped me understand just by getting on to other guys not doing.
Right. Yeah, Jay, Aaron Rodgers, he was on the scout team too on defense. So
right.
Yeah.
He was out there. I mean, and he learned some defensive stuff too, just because, the look, because we always want to give a shell look and then adjust that coverage.
Well, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, Ty, that is the biggest story. So we're going to transition to that. But first of all, before we get into what he talked about in the Kyle Brandt podcast, little interview yesterday, I have this big issue, right? I'm super hyper critical of quarterbacks. And then I've talked to guys like Ben Fennell, that are real, into film. And they like, dude, you got to go back and look back. And Aaron, I found has been the same guy. We're just more critical of the results of what all those fundamentals and habits he developed, to be successful are. It's not him changing, right? And so then when I watch him now and then I hear the national media talk about him, Coach, I get completely confused on I'm not going to be saying I'm a pro. I'm in like 5 years into this, 2 years into my film study. I'm still learning. I ask questions. I can't understand why guys that I know are smarter than me can sit there and honestly use words like decline or criticize him for 4,400 yards. I don't get it when it's the results, not the skills and the traits. Can you speak to Aaron, like where he was and where he is from a coaching standpoint?
I'm not in his meeting rooms now, but I can tell you from when I was there early in his career. And I'll tell you a quick story. We played 2006. We played the Eagles in a Monday night game. I was out before the game, pregame and stuff, and actually Ruvell Mark was in the end zone behind the goalpost, and Aaron was about, say, the 40 or 50 yard line, and he would throw the ball really high up in the air, and they would drop, through the goalpost. And the only reason I remember that, I was like, man, you throw that thing so high, if you're just walking through the goalpost, that thing hit your head, that would hurt you. But, years later, that's his Hail Mary pass. He was, in my opinion, perfecting that before, it would come to those years that he did that. Now, he got a chance to play in 2007. It was Dallas. We went down to Dallas. Brett got hurt. He came in. He threw his first touchdown pass to Greg Jennings. He did a great job. He led us there. And he had just been in the shadows of Brett. The guy can play. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Find guys like that just walking around. I know there's been questions about, other things. This is what I can tell you truthfully. In 2009 or 2008 was my last season with the Packers. I went with the 49ers in 2009. I have a son that has autism, and we had a dinner. So basically we set that up before the season. Well, I didn't know I was going with the Niners, so I'm in San Francisco, and I come back, and the guys that said that they were going to come they came, and Aaron was one of those guys and stuff. So here I am with another team in the NFL, and he still decides to come show up. So to me, that talks about his character and stuff like that. To me. But now go ahead and answer me this last thing, because I'm not certain I know about everything that he said on that podcast.
Well, it starts off with Kyle asking him, like, basically he asks him, what's more likely to happen? Because the Packers are going to end up in a situation like, do they do the ridiculous thing, that seems ridiculous, and move on from first ballot Hall of Fame Aaron Rodgers, or do they choose not to play the first round draft pick? And here's just a few quotes in his answer, Ty. He said, I think it's the former, which was meaning that they'll ridiculously move on from him sooner than later. He said his comments, this is just snippets. They drafted him. They like him. They want to play him. And QBs now, GMs and head coaches, especially young ones, are far more likely to play QBs earlier. It's just the writing on the wall. He said he wasn't, he was surprised, but he's not bitter. He understands it's a business. So that's just the beginning of it, when his initial reaction.
So can you say I was right?
What?
About them?
What
About them wanting to move on from Aaron Rodgers sooner rather than later? Because you were saying that A-Rod will play out his 4 years. I'm saying
because I think it's absolutely ridiculous, because this is not Brett Favre, which he also said the correlation he didn't see other than the age. He just didn't see all the parts that everybody's trying to put together, which, you kind of can, but then you look at it and there's just not enough. But yeah, so yes, okay, so you were right. I just felt like it was ridiculous. Like, I still think it's ridiculous. I don't care how good Jordan Love is. Like Ty just said, like, you don't find Aaron Rodgers with that competitive edge, like, and how many of those guys have we seen play in the league with his complete skill set before he came around? Like, it just seems ridiculous, guys.
But you gotta understand, when other guys' jobs are at stake, you want the guy you bringing in to. If I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down with my ship sinking with this guy at the helm, not this older guy that wants to do what he wants to do. That's a future Hall of Famer, and it's still his team. It's not going down like that. And that's how I saw it with Brett and McCarthy. Now I'm seeing it with the floor and A-Rod and the GM.
It baffles me, guys. Like, I keep watching the film because I keep hearing the narratives. It doesn't matter what radio I turn on, what outlet. When Aaron Rodgers is brought up, it's the same stuff. So then I go and I watch film. I try to find it, and then I try to correlate that with what happened with them moving up in the draft to get a first-round quarterback, and trying to understand that, yeah, they're doing exactly what you're saying. He understands it. You understand that. I'm having a hard time computing it. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't.
That's when a fan have to understand it has to be a realist versus reality.
I hate it when you do the fan thing, because this isn't about my attachment to him as a Packer at all. This is me looking at his skill set and knowing that he sat for 3 years, okay? He also had collarbone injuries where it was like he didn't take hits, and those aren't things that really killed him that bad. So he's not as old as he normally, his age says. It doesn't make sense.
When I look at your head, what do I see? I see a G, right? When I look to your right, what do I see? I see an Aaron Rodgers jersey. So you have a little bias in there. You can't say you don't.
Oh, I do, but it's also.
But I'm not saying you are 100% fan, because you are a radio show, color commentary. So you have to have some type of, separation from fan versus host versus radio guy. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. I do understand that, but when you have a Rodgers jersey behind you and you have a G on your hat, there is a type of bias there, and there will be for me as well. But the thing is I was in that locker room. I was on that playing field with them. I was on the field when he was on the sideline. So, and me being in that organization, that's where being a fan and versus being a realist in reality kicks in.
Oh, see, BJack, I understand what you're saying there, but this stuff all came about in my room long before I started doing what I'm doing now. And I'm not going to get rid of it because it's the reason why I love the game. It's how I grew up. It's why I ended up doing what I'm doing with you now was because of my fandom. But at the same time, when I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, I've told you this, he's not even my favorite quarterback in a Packers jersey. And yet
you have said that. You have said that.
Right. And I can tell you to this day, equivocally, watching the two of them, he's a better quarterback than my favorite quarterback, Brett Favre.
That's why I'm trying to make the difference for everybody, for our listeners, is that side with you. Okay, it's not about you. It's about our fans and our listeners that side with you. At times, you have to separate being a fan from the business.
Oh yes. And you do.
The reality of this game.
Well, Ty,
I got a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Jay, do you have kids?
I got two, a 9-year-old daughter that'll be 10 soon, right before the kickoff of the season, and my boy is 11.
Okay, so you've seen The Lion King?
Oh yes. I've seen The Lion King.
The Circle of Life.
I know. I knew you were going to do that to me, man. I knew you were going to do that to me. The circle of life. No, but you know what? Here's the problem: is that this is the problem. Rodgers is Mustafa. Mustafa wasn't ready to die. He had a lot of rain. There was an evil entity behind it trying to murder him, and they were successful. So if this is the circle of life and Mustafa is Aaron Rodgers, this isn't going to end well for him. Is that what you're saying here? Because that's the correlation I'm making in the circle of life.
But look at this. Check this out. I had a young man, I won't state his name. He was a running back. The year I got there, that following year, he got released. And when I went into the locker room, he told me he got released. And I'm like, man, that's messed up. Why would they do that? And he said, you got to understand this, BJack. It's the circle of life, just like Ty said. What they're paying you, it will take 3 guys to pay me. So I'm making 2 to 3 times what you make. So they're actually saving money by releasing me. And you know what happened? It happened to me. When I my second year in Cleveland.
Yes.
I got and I asked them, and they went out and got 3 of me. So understand that. For the price they were paying me, they went and got 3 of me.
Okay, so Ty, let's get back to the Rodgers thing, because here's something that doesn't make sense now. First of all, he's feeling like it's sooner than later. He said that. Like, I've accepted it. I'm not bitter about it. I understand it's the business. Does it hurt my feelings? Yes. Is it going to drive his competitive fire? I'm sure it is, as much as I've, learned from all the guys that have been around him that we've had on, as well as BJack. But at the same time, how much longer and how does that and why sign him and then do like even from a business side, Ty, from a front office standpoint, if you move on from him in the next 2 years, that cap hit, that penalty, whether you trade him or not, that guaranteed, that's I mean, you know what I mean? Like this is from a business side, this, like, from what I've been taught of how stuff is supposed to be, again, I'm young, I'm learning, but, like, sometimes this stuff is just so obvious. What the hell is going on? What like how much longer and how do you deal with that contract?
Before you answer that question, did the coach not move on? And I know what you're gonna say, from Peyton Manning. Did the Giants not move on from Eli Manning? Did the San Diego Chargers not move on from Drew Brees?
I hate to say it, but Peyton
Did the Patriots not move on from Tom Brady?
Tom Brady moved on from the Patriots.
Did the Packers not move on from Brett Favre?
Well, they had Aaron Rodgers.
And they got Jordan Love. See, you got to understand. You got to understand something. That's just like the Michael Jordan and LeBron comparison. We sitting here saying Jordan is the best. Don't nobody really know A-Rod like that. This generation, they know him, but they see Jordan Love, and they're saying, "Oh, Pat Mahomes," because that's what's implanted on everybody's head. That was being said that Jordan Love is like a Pat Mahomes. So when you bring Love in, and you say, "Oh, we got a Pat Mahomes wannabe," what do you do?
You know what? I'm going to say this to you, BJack, because I want Ty to answer. Bird in hand is worth two in the bush. All right? Bird in hand is worth two in the bush. I don't care how much you can say he has not proved he is anything close to Patrick Mahomes. And guess what, guess how Patrick Mahomes became Patrick Mahomes. He'll tell you himself. By watching his favorite quarterback do the things that he is emulating and still doesn't do quite as well when you break down the film honestly as the guy that he did it. And that's Aaron freaking Rodgers. Bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. End of story. It's the oldest thing in the world. You got a Hall of Famer that is everything every GM has ever wanted in a freaking quarterback, to be able to do all the things, make all the throws, read all the defenses, decipher all the information, and you're trying to throw it away for potentially maybe a guy that still is growing into trying to be the guy you already have? Come on now, bird in hand worth two in the bush.
That is called business decisions. But Ty, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you made a great point, Brandon. But I look back at and I don't look at the business aspect. I look at the pure athlete and stuff like that. I go back to when I was in college, and I grew up in LA, and the Lakers played the Bulls, and I used to not like Michael Jordan, because he's played the Lakers and stuff. So I'm a big Magic Johnson fan, all that type of stuff, and my buddy liked the Bulls, and so I came to a greater understanding of, I like to watch Michael Jordan, because there ain't guys that are like that, and those guys don't come around very often. And to me, you look at LeBron James, and they said, the Wash King, and you look at, this season, and to me, it's time to appreciate Aaron for what he is, and, appreciate the stuff that he brings to the table. Because, you don't know how long he's going to be here, whether it's 2 years or 5 years or, and that type of thing. But to me, just appreciating him during his time, because I do know this, and I still live in Green Bay, that Green Bay loves their quarterbacks. I mean, they put those quarterbacks, right up there.
Hold up. What you say? Their quarterbacks?
Love those quarterbacks.
I can't believe you did that, BJack. I quit trying to be corny. I will fail horn you if you keep being corny like that. You're trying to run the man into a pun while he's trying to talk up our man Aaron Rodgers.
All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get him going, Ty. I know I can get proud of it. And that's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah, but that's one of the things they do. They love the quarterbacks, and I remember, I've coached with other organizations too. Before I came, to Green Bay, and I just remember, how people would love to come up here to the Lambeau Field and stuff like that. But people really loved Brett almost more than the Packers, and to me, it's the same thing with Aaron. To me, it's the organization and the quarterbacks above that a little bit, So I don't know what Love can do, but he's got some.
Hey, what Love got to do with it?
You're going to just keep rolling these hard, aren't you? Like, this could be possibly the worst thing for a last name for somebody like you said that gets put on
all I know is a thin line between love and hate.
I thought you were literally going to say Love and Rodgers, and I was going to get up and walk the hell away and let you finish the show. I was just, don't go there. Please don't go there.
I thought you were going to say for the love of the game.
Oh, Ty keeps it going. Just you're turning my guts inside right now.
Hey, but look what God said. We are to what? Love our who? Our neighbor.
As ourselves. Love our, the end of that is as ourselves.
Who's our favorite neighbor? A-Rod.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. All right, so the next part of this.
That's a good pitch. We should have some good love A-Rod pitches. So hashtag us, add us, and tell us
at Title Town Brawl.
And tell us your favorite A-Rod love pitch.
Oh, jeez. All right, so the next part he was talking about when he was talking about, and this is where he kind of did the classic Aaron Rodgers, I'm saying something without saying it in the statement I'm saying. So he asked him, he basically said, I love the city. I grew up there. I was 21 when I got there. I'm 36 now, going to be 37. I grew up there. I'm not bitter. I understand it's a business. But he basically said, he knows he's not going to finish his career there. And he said it in a roundabout way without saying it.
I think he was asking for a trade.
That's what I was going to say. How do you feel like with that contract the way it is, how does he end up leaving town? I mean,
look, man, in Aaron Rodgers' mind, he don't want to pull Tom Brady because he don't want to wait till it's too late. What he said is trade me now where I can still add more value and be of a great asset to a team. That's what I feel he's saying.
What's he worth on the open market?
Anything you're asking for.
As far as draft capital. Honestly. Because the way people talk about him, you're not going to get much.
A first and third round.
What do you think, Ty?
Because
you're looking at the camera and you're doing that face to BJack right now.
and that's, to me, that's the least. All right? Because he has at least 4 more years in him, right? That's a first round draft pick right there. All right? You're getting a Super Bowl champion, MVP, Hall of Famer. That's if you just ask me. Because he can pull Peyton Manning easily with the team.
I don't think they can afford to cut him though, because if you just cut him and take that cap hit and don't get nothing, they have to.
I'm talking about trading him.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, speaking to the fans, because I know that's something, and that's kind of what my question was going to be to Ty. Like, is that contract not really kind of answering the question for us? Like, you cannot cut Aaron Rodgers, let him walk to anything, take that cap hit, get nothing in return, kill a cap, because that would kill their cap for the immediate near future, and it would put them in a situation cap-wise where they would have to do a lot of other stuff, and really could put them in and really get nothing back. Let the guy and then watch him play 4 or 5 more years, and be elite. Like, so does that contract really, like, we already know the exit is like whether he demands it or they decide it's time, like, or they get the right offer. It's got to be a trade, Ty.
I think it's gonna play itself out. I mean, you guys, come up with some good questions. Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? To me, I think it's going to play itself.
Yep, we got poor connection on it again.
Brett Favre, after he went to the Jets, a coach asked me, "Can the guy still play?" and I said, "Yeah." So and he could. So to me, Aaron can still play. I wouldn't bet against him. I'll put it to you that way.
Is
he's not long. He's not long in the tooth. That long in the tooth.
Is there any scenario you see from a coaching point of view that Aaron forces them, he actually steps his game up to what I think is ridiculous standard he's playing so good, like they're just like, man, like there's
you don't have to play good. He just stepped the standard up by saying what he said. But anyway,
what's that supposed to mean, BJack?
That means he's setting the tone. Like he already set the tone. You can't.
He's saying I want out.
You can't set the tone anymore with Aaron Rodgers on the field. Aaron Rodgers is setting the tone now in his speech and what he's saying, whether it's soft, nonverbal or verbally. He's talking to you, but he's looking at someone else. I think that's what he's doing right now. So you can't set the tone any higher than what he's doing right now, other than pulling a Jamal Adams.
That's not his style, I don't think.
Exactly.
You guys can speak to that more. I'm just saying, I can call him a type A personality and all this, but like that only goes so far. Like I just don't think that's in his style. I think he loves the town and the fans and understands that dynamic of his impact of his words and actions way too much to do something like that, no matter how he's feeling. And I think it's exactly why he speaks the way he speaks in interviews, because he's a smart enough man to know, where his bread is buttered and how to operate and do things in a manner that's not going to.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, Drew Brees got one more year in New Orleans.
New England makes the most sense, because then we literally get to see what everybody's always debated. Is it Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? Can Aaron Rodgers win just as many Super Bowls or make it look easier in the Bill Belichick system? And I think Bill Belichick would love to see it's not just Brady. If I would have had an Aaron Rodgers, it would have been even more easy, and I wouldn't have lost those damn 3 Super Bowls we lost,
But anyway, Ty, what's your position on A-Rod's statement?
Well, first of all, you brought up A-Rod in New Orleans. Man, that scratched my head a little bit. So, whoa, that system, man. When McCarthy got hired in Green Bay, that was that head coach's first year too. I mean, I think he had an interview in Green Bay too.
Yes. Those two were the finalists.
Yes.
Yeah. So you brought it up, so you opened up that door. I didn't even think about that one, but man, I think Aaron knows exactly what he's saying. So he's very calculated with what he says and stuff like that. So
I think he wants out. I think after this year he wants out. He doesn't want to play around with, okay, we're going to give him 2 more years or 3 more years. He wants to know that he's the guy and he can ride out his contract. And I think that was the situation before they drafted Love in the first round. Okay, so A-Rod is not that guy where he wants to sit there. And I'm not saying that he can't beat out Love, but at this time, I think he's earned the right and the respect not to even come close to battling anyone for his position.
That's true. I think anybody's not going to want to look over their shoulder. Like you talked about the current NFL MVP. So if the guy they just drafted is supposed to be, a guy like that, that means, the system's going to change and all that type stuff. And, nobody wants to look over their shoulder. So I definitely think that he deserves, not to. But
I mean, that's like being in any company and the ownership changes. But you've been a devoted worker in leading your team to victory and reaching that quota every year. But the boss just sees something that's okay, it's just time for a change. And I think that's where it's coming. And A-Rod is seeing it. And he said, I would not rather wait 2 years, 3 years down the road and then say, trade me. He's making his statement now, but after this season.
The most definitive statement Aaron Rodgers made in that entire interview that is probably the one thing that needs to be said, that it speaks to exactly what you're saying, was, when I signed my contract, I was happy and I was looking forward to ending and finishing my career, in Green Bay, and then they went and drafted a quarterback. And they traded up to get that quarterback. And that's basically him saying in the Aaron Rodgers way what you just said. Like, I signed that contract. I was ready to be a Packer. I didn't want to do the Brett Favre thing. And then the GM and head coach, the young guns, traded up and drafted a first-round quarterback. And I'm Aaron freaking Rodgers. I'm not spending the next 3 years having to prove myself and having to listen to, well, your talent, you should have thrown 4,600 yards, but you only threw 4,473. And we think you should have thrown 38 touchdowns, but you only threw 34. And I know you only threw 6 picks, but damn it, you could have only thrown 3. He doesn't want to. He's already been going through that stuff as it is for a long enough time in his career. He doesn't want it anymore. He's too old.
That's right. You're right. You're 100% right. Correct. And guys like us, even though we love Aaron Rodgers, we have a job to do, and we're gonna sit there and say why Aaron Rodgers can go doggone near perfect, but we're not looking at what he did good or perfect. We're looking at his imperfections and what he did wrong. That's what guys are going to look at from this day forward. And they're going to start the time clock and say why Jordan Love should be playing. All it takes is one time for Aaron Rodgers to come out of a game, and then it's going to be, is it the Jordan Love show from here on out?
Wally pipped. But the thing is my argument here, looking at it now that you got me on this roll, you two, and this mindset is this narrative and stuff has been going on for a few years, back to pre-Mike McCarthy's firing, right? And so now that was the setup for the reason to be able to move up, trade up, grab the quarterback you love. I'm playing the game with you two. It's not from this day forward. It's the reason and the narrative that has been used and been talked about through the national media, and the same reason and underlying tone when you put it all together. Look, and play Nancy Drew, why they drafted and did what they did, moved up to get the quarterback.
Ty, in a nutshell, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm listening to what Gouda said, right? He said that this was whose pick?
The organization. He said LaFleur was on board, and he was on board. It was all together. They made a unified decision. So there's nobody that can say, oh, Aaron, it wasn't me. Well, I didn't have nothing to do with it. Trust me, buddy.
What does that tell you? You don't go out and get a first-round draft pick and let him sit.
Well, he said that too.
You just don't. And that's the same thing. Aaron Rodgers knows it well. Why? Because he was that guy that was young and hungry, sitting behind a Hall of Famer in Brett Favre, and nipping at his heels for 3 to 4 years straight, and have to deal with retiring, coming back. Now Aaron Rodgers has to deal with the same thing, and he does not want to deal with it.
I'll let Ty speak to this.
Man, you guys making some great arguments. I'm just listening. I need to go get some popcorn. So
he got me going.
Yeah. Like I said, it's going to play itself out. You made some great points talking about the business aspect of it. You got a guy, so why would you draft a guy and not play him?
Not draft a guy. Trade back into the first round.
Okay, bring up the details of it. Yes. So basically, why am I going to go reach for this? play at some point in time. You probably don't want him to play, this first year, but it'll be, and then you have no preseason games, so it's tough to evaluate him there. So, to me, maybe they'll have a package for him. I don't know, but if the GM coach wanted the guy, at some point in time, he's going to play within his next 2 to 3 years.
And I'm not comparing the quarterback from Philly to A-Rod, but you go get Jalen Hurts. Like you're not sitting Jalen. Like you're not. He's gonna have a package. So if you got a third round that has a package and that's mobile and that can move, and not saying Aaron Rodgers is not mobile, can move, but you're gonna want to see what he can do. And A-Rod he's not with that New Orleans Saint type of offense to where, okay, put the backup in, put the third string in, you got 3 quarterbacks on the field. No, this is my ball, my team, let's go.
I don't know.
And I'm not saying it. A-Rod just said it.
He said it in no uncertain words there, but again, from just a football, what he has left, I still like. Doesn't matter how much I think about it, and I think about it a lot because it's the off season. There's not a lot else to think about. And here, BJack, as a fan, I understood exactly why the organization did what they did as a fan, and wasn't mad about it while the rest of the fans were. But as watching film, as evaluating talent and knowing what Aaron is and looking at it, I can't. It doesn't matter what you try to tell me. So Jay, it does not make sense because you're trying to move on like normally with and organizationally, and like I said, everything that I have been taught and the things I'm learning and the foundations of which I've been built on knowing about the business side of football. You make these moves with guys like Drew Brees, with Phillip Rivers, with guys you feel like are literally falling off. You can see it. You can see the results. The wins aren't there. The talent is falling off. You can't make that argument with Aaron Rodgers at this point. And so that's where I make the disconnection in the understanding how they can be okay and justify this move. Because you literally cannot sit here and tell a film analyst, even somebody as young in the game as me, and tell me that it's because of what we see in the film room. It's because of you might have advanced analytics and made up stats that are only 18 months or 3 years old that have not existed just because that they've wanted to do things to be able to justify easier to people and fans and nerds out there in the world, football nerds, of why they can move on. But that doesn't equivocate to the actual foundations of watching film and evaluating talent. That's a whole different game, man. And it's not really a big part of my game, dude. And so when I look at it, guys, I still can't understand what your justification is. The film is telling you this is not the time or the right move. It's a bad and then the contract on top of that.
So Aaron Rodgers he has what, 4 more years left on his contract, right?
Yes.
I believe. And that's why I'm saying I can see him playing 6 more years. Literally, I can see him playing 6 more years. I can see him playing out this contract and getting a 2-year contract and then leaving the game of football at 42 years old.
This is my perspective on things. Jay, when was the last time you went to 1265 Lombardi? When was the last time you went to Lambeau?
1997.
That's the last time you're in Lambeau?
Yes. I live 6.5 hours away, man. And I don't leave my island much, okay?
Right. So if you go by 1265, you'll see Titletown, across the street, and all this building and stuff going on and all this type of stuff. I watched TV or the news one time, and they said that a Packers playoff game brought in $15 million to the area businesses. So it's still about about, to me, who gives you the best chance to win. So at the end of the day, who gives you the best chance to win? Because I know this, they just building new stuff. And if they go 8-8 or stuff like that, people aren't going to come. They won't come to Green Bay. Now, I know 2007, we went to the NFC Championship game. Fans everywhere. We go 8-8 the next year, not so much. But that's what I'll say. Who gives you the best chance to win? And that's going to be the guy who plays.
Until that guy that gives you the best chance to win, you pissed him off and he says, I'm out. Deuce. Give me a trade. And then you're stuck with a guy that you're not sure can give you the best chance to win because you made that decision. That's where I'm looking at it, Ty.
But Ty, I see your vintage point from. I see what you're saying, okay?
Yeah.
But I ask you this because I saw this with Pat Mahomes, right? And Alex Smith. Now you can't really compare the two because Pat Mahomes can sling the ball, and Alex Smith is a game manager. But we didn't know what Pat Mahomes could do. And they were just going off potential. So what gave Pat Mahomes the nod to take over? Is it because they just felt like they were done with Alex Smith? Or they felt that truly Pat Mahomes gave them the chance to win? Because they were still winning with Alex Smith.
Well, you bring up something totally different now when you bring up Alex Smith, and I got a chance to coach Alex Smith as well as Aaron Rodgers, but those two guys came out the same year,
right?
And that was a big issue. Who's going first? Is it going to be Aaron? Is it going to be Alex? And so, but then now you talk about Mahomes, and then now you got Rodgers, and you're talking about Love being a Mahomes guy too. So are you trying to say that that's going to be the next Kansas City?
Yes. Or is it the next Kansas City like? Because you're thinking about this, and I get what you're saying, that Aaron Rodgers gave them the best chance to win, but we didn't know Pat Mahomes gave them the best chance to win because Alex Smith was winning.
Yeah.
So what is that? What do you feel like that determining factor was with Pat Mahomes and Alex Smith versus A-Rod? Now, and I know the comparison. Well, A-Rod can throw light years ahead of Alex Smith, but what's the correlation between these two situations? Minus given the best chance to win, because like I said before, Alex Smith was the best chance to win because Pat Mahomes never played a down of NFL football. But they still went with Pat Mahomes.
Hey, but still, Green Bay is different. Small town and stuff like that. I just think it's different. I know for a fact they love their quarterbacks, and that quarterback is on high.
But did they not love Brett Favre?
No. They did love Brett. I mean, like I said, Brett. In my opinion, it was Brett. Then it was the Packers. You know what I mean? So,
but the Packers have not drafted a first-round draft pick in so long, and then they go get Jordan Love. So Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love are the first two first-round quarterbacks. And Jay, you probably know this. How long?
I'm going to say it like this, Ty. Jordan Love is the first-round skill position player the Packers organization has drafted since Aaron Rodgers in 2005. All their offensive talent, they're no skill positions, right? The last first-round picks on the offensive side, Brian Bulaga in 2010, 24th or 25th overall, or 23rd overall, somewhere in there. And, that's not no first-round wide receivers, no first-round running backs, no first-round tight ends. So it's been Aaron Rodgers and then Jordan Love. skill position players. Like that. How, and, like, can you say, like, piss me off even a little more when you stop? I mean, if you're Aaron, you don't forget any of this. That's the problem here is, like, he remembers he knows all that just off the top of his head, like.
And that's the thing.
That all factors in here.
We're thinking so simple that hands down, it's Rodgers. But that's the simpleton of the business part of being a fan to say that it's Aaron Rodgers all day. But you don't go get someone in the first round
unless you feel like the film justifies it.
Yes.
Well, there's another thing I thought about. I remember Mike McCarthy always talking about bringing in guys, but we develop guys. So we always talked about a culture of development, when the players come through. But you also have the changing of the guard. So those guys that they drafted back when McCarthy was there, now you got a new GM. So you got a different mindset, and now you got a new head coach too. So maybe there is, hey, let's go take a shot at a skill guy. I still think I would say 2 or 3 years you'll find the answer to your question. Whether it happen now or it's not going to happen. Because to me, that was a tough time with the Brett and the Aaron thing. As far as he's going, he's staying, and all that type stuff. I mean, I remember going down in the locker room because, I did everybody's playbook. So I had, Brett's playbook that he never got because out on the field. So. eBay,
just hit up Ty Knott on eBay.com and you can.
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying, no, I didn't mean that. I'm saying I had it.
I'm just joking, folks. I know.
He never got it.
Well, he said he never went in the locker room.
Yes.
I know.
Brett was back in his secret dungeon office.
Yes.
Did you see how quickly he got sweating there? Like, wait a second, no.
Oh man.
Pull the collar, let the heat out, Ty. It's okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think that that thing's going to play itself out, and hopefully it's the benefit of all the Packers fans. Because really it's about winning, getting back to that winning side of it, and that's why I talked about the Lambeau and all that type of stuff, all the stuff that's going on there. Because to me, you got new development and all that type of stuff, but if you ain't winning, they ain't gonna come see you. So still, you gotta win, and you gotta win now.
Winning cures everything. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what all the negative stuff happens. You get on the field, you put up the W's. If you're eating W's, as Jameis Winston would once say, everybody's happy. You got a full tummy, and everybody's smiling. It's like Thanksgiving dinner.
But I truly think, and this is no knock to A-Rod, all right, because I don't want people to think, well, I'm knocking A-Rod and his talent. We can up and win in our conference. It's what's out of conference that is out of our NFC North division that helps win. See, our division, we're gonna win that regardless because those other teams don't have quarterback. But it's the type of wins we get outside of our division.
Yes, that's going to matter. They're going to need some big wins against New Orleans. They're going to need wins that, they're going to at least need to, even if they lose, they're going to have to lose in a respectable fashion against the 49ers or, beat them. Like there's games where you can kind of already circle the calendar of when they play these teams, it's not, they need to win to be able to get those number one seed because there's only one bye now in the playoff seeding. But at the same time, it's even if they're going to lose, they better not get shellacked like they did, against the 49ers twice last season. And again, so like, it's not just always about winning too. Sometimes it's about, like we talked about in 2007, young Aaron Rodgers comes in Dallas, you lose that game ultimately, but you walk away with a big smile on your face, like, yeah, we got next. We good. And so sometimes it's not always about winning that builds confidence in that locker room that can propel you. It's about how you perform and play regardless of the wins or losses. Just quit smiling at me, BJack. When you get that smile, something notorious might just come out of your mouth next. So I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm just thinking.
All right. You got any other questions for Mr. Ty?
I do not. I know Ty. I know the answers he's gonna give me are very filibuster type. No, I'll just playing. But no, I've been knowing Ty for a very long time, and believe me, I got all my questions out. I probably didn't drain the well by now with all the knowledge he has about the game of football.
All right. Well, Ty, we are gonna wrap it up and end the show. But before
don't we have some polls or something?
Oh, you want to do polls? You
Yeah.
want to do the polls? Oh, fine, Ty. We're gonna make you do the polls with us. You know, I didn't know if you want to still do the polls, man. We're getting an hour and 15 minutes. I didn't know you want to do the polls, but we'll do the polls quickly.
Let's do the polls.
Let's do the polls. All right, we'll do the polls. BJack wants to do the polls. Putting Jay on the spot with damn polls. Now I got to open Twitter and siphon through all this stuff. You see how you do me, man?
Well, then let's not do the polls then.
No, you stop it. Now I'm already on the polls. You can't just do that. All right. So we had one. Here we go. We'll start with this one. It's after Devin Funchess opted out yesterday. Are you worried more Packers will choose the same path for the 2020 season? There is 55% said yes, 26% said no, and 18% says it doesn't matter.
Well, I think Ty already kind of elaborated on that. Devin
said
Funchess
it did matter.
that,
So guess what? Y'all are wrong. Okay,
it did.
So we'll move on.
It
to the
does
next one.
matter.
So here we go. We got which NFC North quarterback will have the best season in 2020. Now, this means win stats awards. Does not include overall career. Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, or Trubisky/Foles, because we don't know who the hell is going to play for the entire season for the Bears, because if you got two quarterbacks, you got none.
Well, we know Foles might opt out. No, I'm just playing. They said that was a lie. So, but if Mitch want to play another year, he needs to opt out.
What? Oh man, who's having the best Ty? Who's having the best season for 2020 of the NFC North quarterbacks, and why? If you got
that's not even.
Well, I mean that's going to be a no-brainer. That's going to be Aaron. I don't think the Bears are ready. This year, that's going to be tough for them. The Vikings, they seem to always get in their own way. And then the Lions, I wouldn't. I don't know what they're going to do. So that's why I would say
they still in the den. They still
right. But and then with the young coach, I know he wants to prove some things, and stuff like that. So that's why I say it's still the Packers' time.
But Ty and Jay, speaking on the Minnesota Vikings, we have not talked about Everson Griffin wanting to join the Packers.
That was a report as of yesterday afternoon that the Green Bay Packers and former defensive end from the Vikings, Everson Griffin, have mutual interest. He seems like a guy that's more of a stand-up outside linebacker in their scheme, but football players are football players. If you think he can play the 5 technique and that 2-down defensive lineman, which is what they play majority of the time in Green Bay anyway, I mean, he's still a good player.
If you just asking me, I believe Everson, if you have him, those 3 games that you lost last year, you don't lose.
What position is he playing? Is he still down defensive lineman, or is he playing edge?
Edge.
And so then what happens with Smith and Gary and
But when the Packers, and maybe they're just saying that so that they can so that the Vikings can resign him. But come on, you can't pass up on talent. He's proven.
True.
I think he's only 28.
And if you have a good rotation, that's good too. As far as like those defensive linemen rotating them through, you got fresh guys.
That's how we won a Super Bowl.
Ty, do you see him as somebody that could be kind of like a Za'Darius on how they used him in the later half of last season, where he's not only a part of your outside edge, but you can put him at middle linebacker, you can put him at defensive tackle, you can put him at defensive end. Like, he's a guy that can be used in a versatile amount of way, or is he just a guy like just put him down and say, go get the quarterback? Because, he does have a unique size and skill set for a guy in the league nowadays.
Yes, he's definitely athletic and stuff like that. To me, there's going to be times just let him pin his ears back and get the quarterback. There's be some times that, you can maneuver him around. And so the offense needs to know where he is at particularly. And so now that frees up another guy to a one-on-one and that type of thing. So I definitely think that adding him could definitely be a big plus for that defense.
BJack is under the impression, and I subscribe to it, that this season, no matter how we want to break it down, is not going to be about this offense. Because the offense wasn't pretty last year, and it did enough in as far as clock management and ball control and risk, adverse plays and turnovers and being all that the difference in them going and winning the Super Bowl is the defense, and particularly the secondary. What are your thoughts on what this team really needs to do to take that next step to be able to beat teams like the 49ers and make it to the Super Bowl and win?
You asking me that?
Yes, sir.
And I did not get a chance to watch all the games, all their games and stuff like that. But
fundamentally, looking at it as a whole, how would you do you feel like just overall, does the offense have to play better? Or do you think that BJack is kind of on the right thing where if the defense just makes some plays, the offense can do what it was doing and it was winning games? The failures came from the defense. I guess that's really, if you want to simplify it for you, Ty.
Yeah, to me, I'm always a guy that's going to talk about the big three. So it's got to be offense, defense, and special teams. Because to me, you don't want to overlook any of those factors. And your special teams has got to make some plays. Your defense definitely has to make some plays. I know your offense is going to show up. I know, Aaron's going to throw some touchdowns, all that type of stuff. So to me, just a complete unit. Like you talk about San Francisco, and we mentioned them, and you look at their defense. Really the top dog there is their defense, not their offense. So it's a complete.
I would say this, and once again, this is no knock on the Packers. If you look at the Saints, do the Saints really need turnovers to score? No. The Packers, even at my time with the Packers, we needed that ball back, and the only unit that was able to get us the ball back so we can go down and score was the defense. So the defense has to step up. The defense has to get Aaron Rodgers the ball back on many occasions, because the Packer offense is not going to go down and score every single time they have the ball. All right, the offense is. Am I right or wrong by saying they're not as explosive as they used to be? So therefore, there's kind of holes in that to to either turn over on downs or 3 and outs. And then if the defense doesn't stop them, now we're playing from behind.
But, BJack, the reason the offense wasn't explosive is because guys like MVS, Kumaro, Lazard at times missed on the setup explosive plays.
But
and Aaron gets blamed for, well, it was overthrown or it wasn't quite
once
here.
Again, I'm not blaming Aaron. I'm just saying period. I'm saying period. That
I think overall the results of the games tell you it wasn't explosive, but putting it into whole context, it was because the plays that were set up by the run game and then running the play action were just simply incomplete. They weren't. Yeah. They were never manufactured. They set them up. They utilized them, but they didn't execute. You know what I mean? Like,
but it requires your defense to do more, and that's what I'm saying.
Yes, it does do that because it those explosive plays, even with an Aaron Rodgers, are still kind of a gamble. You know, like that's why they're called explosive, because sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. You know, not every firecracker goes bang when you light the fuse. I'm sorry, like.
Okay.
You've never had a done firecracker, Ty? I mean, come on. Like sometimes you light the bottle rocket and the damn thing just goes and it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, you intended it to be explosive, but you didn't get one. You know, like it's a done. Right. It happens.
Right.
But that's what I'm trying to say. It's not always, you know, like an offense fault or a defensive fault. You know, defensive player's fault. It's overall, sometimes you're just going to need that ball back more. And we were blessed in 2010 for that to have happened. We were getting the ball back. That's what helped us win games. We were getting the ball back with minutes to go in order to go down and win ball games by 4 points. So, and I remember a previous year, we wasn't able to do that, and that hurt us. Our
Ty, was he this stubborn? Was he this stubborn just when he was a player, when you coached him?
He was a good guy, but he makes a good point, because to me, we started with ball security circuit, takeaway circuit. I mean, that was the emphasis there. You know, was one, the offense took care of the ball, two, the defense got the ball back, and that's why the Packers were always in the playoffs, because to me, fundamentally, they were doing the right things. You know, to give yourself, because that's all he's saying is give yourself a chance to win. You know, an extra possession here and there, you know, that's awesome. But the game's about momentum anyway. So, you know, just getting that momentum.
And we had guys that had specific ball skills on defense, like Charles Woodson. He knew how to intercept the ball and get the ball out.
Yes.
So guys like that, these young guys have to step up into that type of capacity to help the defense give the ball back to the offense.
All right, last question for you, Ty, and then we'll get out of here, and we appreciate all your time. This is going to be a hard one. Got to save the hardest for last. As a coach, in all sorts of different levels, and then at the highest level in the NFL, what is the hardest factor that you found in making the difference in wins and losses? The thing that is hardest to keep a hold of, that you feel you found from a coaching aspect that really makes a difference in winning and losing? Because there's a lot of theories out there. There's just a lot. But I think a lot of it's BS. I think there's a lot more simple to it. I'm interested to see what your point is.
For me, hold on real quick. Let me answer this question. And then I'll let you answer for yourself. But because I felt that you had already said it, it's the ball. It's emphasis on offense taking care of the ball and defense getting the ball out. That's my, equation to winning ball games.
See, I knew you were going to say that because you've been saying that for the past, 8.5 minutes with your stubbornness. So I knew that was going to be your point.
But Ty, go ahead.
Well, since we come from the same school, that is really important. I mean, just that formula for winning games. Giving yourself some extra possessions and that type of thing, and just creating that mindset. To me, because if you think about it, Brett had a lot of turnovers. I mean, he was on the edge. So he's going to take a chance. Not that he was trying to throw interceptions, but he was on the edge and stuff. So I take that back. I want to say this. The late great Sean Taylor. We played against the Redskins in.
Yeah. It was 7.
7.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
It was 07. Yep.
I remember Brett throwing a go route on the sideline, and Sean Taylor was on the far hash and ran it down. I want to say he had a couple interceptions. He could have had like 4. I just said to myself, wow.
And Jay, if you recall me talking about Sean Taylor,
yes,
I was talking about how he backpedals and how fast he gets out of his breaks. It was like he was like Flash and Batman at the same time. He would get out his backpedal so quick and just appear right where the ball is or right where the offensive guy is.
Yeah, we lost that NFC Championship game that year, so we went on and coached the Pro Bowl, I know he had passed by that time, but he would have been there. But I just wanted to make that point that Brett used to turn the ball over a little bit more, and then so when Aaron came in, McCarthy was definitely on him about that. So that's why he doesn't fumble or throw too many interceptions, because people always talk about his touchdown to interception ratio and how good it is. So really, that mindset.
So, I love that you did this. So, what BJack so eloquently and longly set up here, and then what you agreed on, says this, guys, that no matter what you want to say, no matter what statistic you want to throw out, no matter what other BS at all, when you say the most important thing is about keeping control of the ball on offense by not turning it over and making dumb mistakes and getting it back on defense, well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't play defense. He can't go get the ball back himself, right? So at the end of the day, if that's the most significant factor in wins and losses, guys, then anything else you argue about getting and moving on from Aaron Rodgers, whether he's in the decline or not, is absolutely asinine, because nobody else takes care of the ball better than Aaron Rodgers in the history of this game that has been played for over 100 years. Excuse me, you just signed, sealed, and delivered it, guys. It's not an adverse thing. It's not negative that he throws the ball away the way the national media does. It's not a negative thing that he chooses not to force a ball into double coverage because it could cause an interception, and he's confident enough that he can take the next down and make something positive happen.
But Jay,
if you're saying what you're saying, he's the best quarterback that gives you the best chance to win, no matter what other stat, no matter what else you have to say, if that's the number one factor in wins and losses.
But no one is saying that A-Rod should be gone because he's turning the ball over.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that all the people out there that got all these other excuses, because you guys just said that, and so I'm saying to all those people, with you, what Ty just said, as a coach, all of his experience on all levels, and you as a player, and you guys are agreeing on this, when you break it down like that, all the crap that they're talking out there, all the excuses, all the stats, all the analytics, everything else, you wash it away, and Aaron Rodgers is it. He's the real deal Holyfield, man.
He is. And once again, I'm not biased, but you got to understand there are a lot of other factors that goes into keeping and getting rid of Aaron Rodgers or going to get somebody else to replace Aaron Rodgers. It's not him being a stand-up guy, him not throwing interceptions does not mean that his time in Green Bay is coming to an end. It does not mean that. Okay. So I want the fans to understand that, and you to understand that just because Aaron Rodgers don't turn the ball over, just because Aaron Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer, just because Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl, doesn't mean that his time is not up in Green Bay. Sometimes it's just timing.
I wasn't saying that. I was trying to have a really, really smart, drop the mic moment, and you just came in and just pulled the carpet out from underneath me. Thanks a lot, partner. You're really great. Slow clap for you. Thanks a lot. See what I got to deal with, Ty? You're just supposed to pick up on this. I'm dropping the mic like y'all made the case. Everybody else is dumb. Boom. And he's like, no, Jay, I'm going to be really smart and intelligent and counter-argument your argument. You're killing me, man. You're killing me here. Oh, jeez. I just.
But that's the type of person I am. Like, I want people to understand that it's not, I'm not biased. I don't want to be biased towards A-Rod because I love him. He's my quarterback. I think the world of him. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. But at the same time, just because someone's not throwing interceptions and they're winning games doesn't mean that their time is not up.
Yes, we get that. All right, Ty.
Just like Brett Favre. Brett Favre played, 4 or 5 more years and almost won another Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
His time wasn't up. It was just up in Green Bay.
Just like our time is up now because we're getting long in the tooth, man. We got to get the hell out of here and let these grown men get on with their lives and let us kids go have some fun.
Long in the tooth, okay.
Hey, you know the rules, man. You know the rules. All right, Ty, before we get out of here, you got anything you want to tell the Packer Nation and anything, and tell everybody how to find you if you have any social media and a few things that you're into, anything you want to support and shout out.
Yeah, I'm just a simple guy, so I've got Twitter, not that I get on there all the time or anything like that, but my focus now with all the pandemic, all this type of stuff going on is really just kind of the family and just being around home.
Well, that's awesome. What do you have? Do you have any message for the Packer fans that might listen to this as a guy that once was in the organization and still lives in Green Bay?
Yeah, it's going to be, hoping we get to play the season, but I definitely think it's going to be a good season for Green Bay.
A tough one. Yeah.
It's going to be unique because you have the drama that's kind of, that's going to build up and all this type of stuff, what if and all that type of stuff. So, but the bottom line is they're going to win games and they're going to come to play as professionals. And so I'm just be excited just to watch some sports on TV. The NBA's coming on tomorrow night, so don't call me about 7:00 because I'm being there watching. So, I'm not answering.
7:05. BJack's gonna call you now. You know what's gonna happen. He's gonna wait, right? 7:05. All right, I know what he's doing. Hey, Ty, you're gonna be like, man, I told you, don't call me. Yeah. And then he's gonna laugh and smile.
Yeah, locked in. So I definitely, kind of look forward to this season getting going. And I know we all miss football.
Yeah. Yes, we do. All right. BJack, you want to tell anybody anything out there before we get out of here?
No, I just can't wait for next week because there are a couple more things that we need to talk about. Just for instance, the contract that the NFL players are signing. This is just what I'm hearing. These are rumors of what I'm hearing that players are not gonna get performance bonuses and all this stuff, and they're signing these deals, those type of deals. So I want to dig a little bit more deeper into that and get back with you guys and figure out that and have an answer for you because I feel like that is important because I'm getting asked questions like that.
Well, that sounds like that's going to be an interesting topic to talk about and discuss. You're trying to make me do homework again, aren't you? You're always trying to make me do
little nugget.
I see how you are. You're lucky I like you. You're lucky I like you so much, and you're always smiling. You're always giving me extra work. Pull the carpet out from underneath my moments in the show, and then you give me homework on top of it. You're worse than my 7th grade math teacher, I tell you what.
All right, Jay, you get long in the tooth now.
All right, we're out of here. Hit us up on the Twitter at Titletown Brawl. He is at BJackson32. I am at UPJ33. You can hit him up on Instagram, Brandon Jackson29, and I am at J_Andrews033. Follow, like, and share our Facebook page by searching Titletown Brawl. And don't forget to give our parent company some love, The Brawl Network. Hit them up on the website, thebrawlnetwork.com. Go there, sign up for free. It's your one-stop shop. The Brawl has it all, baby. And don't forget to give them some love on social media. Hit them up on Twitter at Network Brawl and on Facebook and Instagram by searching The Brawl Network. We love you all. Have a great weekend. It's home day. And so don't have too much trouble on Thursday. Get back with us next Wednesday live, 5 Central, 6 Eastern. Go Pack Go. Love y'all. Peace, fam.
Out of these fathers and rose up all of his daughters to glorify him with honor. Man, I swear Thomas Jones with her head did. Now it's flying everywhere. She don't care what her head did. She an egg, yeah, caught up in the egg, yeah. Probably why she clapping like Jesus just reappeared. Give me that gun, money that gun, oh, Bible that old school doctrine. Give me that truth for the body, ain't nothing new about it, but it's still wanna to get the Lord on his feet. I wanna do the type of shows that the Lord wanna see. What I mean, if I can make the whole church clap, it ain't a clap in the heavens, then that clap just a clap for his son glorified, sin mortified, the Holy Spirit going word that truth ain't watered down. It's sound doctrine, gets birds in the common now. Let the Romans sing it loud, but that ain't where the power's on. The church has been clapping at weak sermons, leaving the weak hurt. No one's changed by Sunday service. We need discernment, check what you be affirming, cause the church can be full of members but empty in conversion. Preach the gospel and stand back, look for change life.